when I got there, I saw people in shock, and they had just witnessed a huge arc flame coming out of the excavation they were doing. They might have got the fright of their life. First question for me was everybody safe? They were, and at that point in time, we started to actually work on, first of all, restoring power. I thought that we had located the problem, which was the excavation, but what happened was that in turn induced another fault, which resulted in the long outage for many people in the upper town, which went on till about 10 o'clock at night.
This happened despite the fact that the contractor had drawings which showed them exactly where not to dig.
What we tend to do is when there's any projects going on in Gibraltar, the contractors involved come to us for what we call service clearance, like they probably go for other utilities too. And we provide a very comprehensive document saying what services we have in the area. In this case, I brought a sample, and I'll show them to you. It's pretty comprehensive. You can see yourself. It highlights certain precautions to be taken. But of course, accidents happen.
You've given me an example of what a contractor might receive, and in bold on the front page, highlighted, it says electrical energy is lethal, which is a reminder that this is dangerous work that people do. Extreme caution must be exercised when working or excavating near electrical cables. Authority is given to work or hand dig to within 300 millimeters. 300 millimeters is that, no? So you can't get closer than that.
Correct.
To any of the electrical cables which are marked on a map, and the map is...
Very accurate, very accurate. Our records are second to none.
I assume in particular close to the North Mole power station, because those will be new.
You have a concentration of cables in that area, yes.
And they were recently laid, so there's no question of the maps being out of date.
Correct.
Okay, and then it says absolutely no mechanical excavation is permitted within 1 meter of these electrical cables. So only hand digging.
Correct.
And was it hand digging that occurred yesterday?
They used a pneumatic drill, JCB type.
How did the conversation go with Calpe Electrical?
That's conversation still to be had. At that point in time, my priority is to make sure everybody's safe, and of course to restore power, which is something that it's a necessity for people at home.
And can you tell us what fully accepted liability means?
Well, that's something we need to go into more detail with them. They'll definitely pay for the repairs, and we'll have to look at legislation, what that's got at the moment, and in particular, perhaps reinforcing legislation in the future.
So you're speaking there to a review of current legislation that may change and allow people to claim more?
Well, I don't know about allow people to claim, but definitely actually that when a company is responsible for the interruption of power that we had yesterday, surely it must actually there must be something in place that actually acts as a big deterrent so that doesn't happen in the future.
And at the moment there isn't anything in law, or not sufficiently?
Not sufficient. The power outage yesterday had nothing to do with the power station in itself. I mean, I've got a graphic here which I showed you. I'll go into the details of the outage yesterday. So we had a damage to a cable, which then in turn induced another fault in the system. You've got stable operation, the first problem with the cable being actually gone through, the system recovers, but then the other fault, which is collateral damage, takes us down. And what happens is on a power system is that when you already have you're kind of coming out of you've been rattled by a fault, and I think we survived it, you get then a second one, you won't survive that one.
And how does the second fault come about? The first one was drilling?
The first one was drilling, and the second one, when you actually have a disturbance in a power system, any weak points that are there which have not manifested themselves to date are likely to do so. I mean, priority one yesterday was to actually restate, even though the hospital has their own backup systems, my priority is the hospital, elderly care, vulnerable locations, effectively.
They had some issues getting back up and running.
They normally what happens with the hospital is that we actually leave it to last because they got their own systems. So once the grid operation is stable again, we just put them back in again. Yesterday, I think they had some minor hiccup, although the system did work, and I made it priority one. Yeah, I think the power's gone up by a pence, 1p. Yeah. but that is in legislation. It's probably unfortunate the timing of the power outage. I mean, remember that our costs are also going up in terms of fuel costs. So I think the government is maintaining the subsidy despite that increase in tariff.
And is Gib Elec aware of more generators being installed by businesses to have their own resilience and their own backup?
Yep, absolutely. But it's not something that's just happening in Gib. I mean, it's happening worldwide.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's something which before was a bit prohibitive in cost, and it's no longer.
Prices of generators are coming down.
I think they're coming down, and that, like most of the designs we're seeing in Gib for new buildings, going back a few years now, have backup generators as part of the design. Apologize for the inconvenience yesterday, and always be assured that whenever something like this happens, which we try and avoid at all costs, that you've got a good team of people there, and they will actually come and do their utmost to restore power safely and promptly.